This is the Vulcan II Max from Roccat. It's the current king of the Vulcan product stack, and it's got the specs, features, and price tag that you'd expect from a top-of-the-line premium keyboard these days. This board has some pretty cool and unique features. One of them is this big detachable translucent palm rest that acts as like a big giant piece of diffusion for the RGB. And I'll show you how that works a little later in the video when we take a close look at the lighting system. If we get the board out of here, we can see there's a little quick start guide at the bottom. And that's gonna be it for the unboxing experience, because there's only 3 things here. You got the keyboard, the palm rest, and that little quick start guide, and that's all there is to it. The first thing I wanna talk about is the cable and connectors. It's a big fat braided cable, 1.8 meters long, and it's fixed so you can't remove it. It has 2 separate USB-A connectors. When I first saw the double connector, I thought there might have been a USB pass-through port somewhere on the board, but that's actually not the case. Turns out the reason is, it just draws a lot of power, probably because of that insane amount of lighting. So the extra connector's there to make sure everything's getting enough power in the event that you have a USB port on your PC that might not be pumping out the full amount of power that it should. So it's kind of like a backup or a failsafe. It's 34 millimeters at its thickest point. It gives off a nice, slim, low profile look. The custom keycaps kind of enhance that look as well. There's a wide bezel all the way around, not something I'm the biggest fan of because it increases the amount of space that it takes up on your desk. But overall, I think it does look good. It's got that smoky gray aluminum top plate. Yeah, it's definitely a nice looking board. It weighs 1,300 grams with the palm rest and just over 1,000 without it. It's heavy and feels pretty solid. And you know I gotta do the super scientific bendy test. Look at that flex. Vulcan boards are some of the least rigid boards I've used. I know it's probably hard to make something low profile and rigid at the same time, but still, that's a lot of flexibility. The good news is this has absolutely nothing to do with the performance of the board. It's just something that I like to do to get an idea of how strong or how stiff the frame is compared to others. Now you won't find any aluminum on the bottom. It's just plastic and there's a lot of grippy rubber pads down here, so sliding's not a problem. There's also a double set of kickstands so you can adjust the angle and get it into a position that's going to be comfortable and work for you. I've never been able to find official information about the keycap material on Roccat's boards. Not sure why, they don't seem to publish that on their website, but based on my own assessment and experience, they feel more like ABS than PBT double shot. There's no noticeable texture or grippy surface, and they do have a tendency to show fingerprints. Now, even though they're custom, they can be replaced with third-party cross-mount caps. Also, the surface area dimensions are the same as standard caps, so you don't notice anything different in terms of how they feel. I've used these a lot on the Vulcan 121 AMO, and I've always liked them. This board has Roccat's new multi-function dual LED smart keys. There's 24 smart keys in total that have a separate backlight that can show you what's active. For example, if I want to mute my mic, I can press function and F6 and that'll light up the mute icon a separate color from the main backlight. It can also change colors to show you battery status for your mouse or headset, and it can display a color for CPU, GPU, and RAM usage. And you can also customize all these colors if you want. It's a quick and convenient way to get basic information, and I gotta hand it to Roccat for coming up with it. It's pretty cool. Unlike its baby brother, the Vulcan II Mini, the Max has dedicated multimedia keys. And this is so important for me. I much prefer having dedicated keys and controls to having to use software all the time. We've got forwards, back, play, pause, and a volume knob that's also a push to mute button. It's not a ton of controls, but it's the ones that matter, at least for me. Roccat's using their brand new Titan II optical switches on here. They're good for a rated 100 million presses. At the time of this review, you can choose either linear reds, which I have here in my board, or tactile browns if you like to feel a little bump with your key presses. These reds are super smooth and fast with 1.4 millimeter actuation point, 3.6 millimeter total travel, and a 45 gram operating force. They also sound pretty good and manage to keep noise levels down. Here's a quick sound test. I recently reviewed the Vulcan II Mini with the same Titan II red switches, so between these two boards, I've actually racked up quite a bit of time with them, and I love them. The word flawless comes to mind if I had to describe them in just one word. They feel so smooth and fast, and I don't know if it's the switches themselves or the low profile keycaps or something else, but I feel like I'm just faster on this board, and that includes typing. The keys feel less clunky and I just seem to make less mistakes with it. Having this full-size layout with multimedia controls and secondary functions is perfect for me as a content creator. I take advantage of all the keys when I'm editing videos. I have hotkeys set for all sorts of stuff on my editing timeline, and it saves me a lot of time when I'm working on a project. Full-size boards are definitely going to take up a lot of desk space, but the features they offer make it worth it for me, and I don't plan to downsize to TKL or 60% for my main setup where I work and play games. Now for the lighting. Prepare to have your mind absolutely blown. First of all, let's get this palm rest on there. All you have to do is push the tabs into the slots along the front edge of the board. The light then shines through and just kind of bounces around all over the place. Looks pretty cool. And then to take it off, all you have to do is lift it up a bit and pull it straight out. It's super easy. Swarm has 8 lighting presets plus a custom mode. AIMO is Roccat's AI-powered RGB system that detects what you're doing on your PC and automatically adjusts the lighting for you. It's basically a set it and forget it kind of thing, and it looks good. And you can sync it up with other AIMO devices if you have them. There's a couple reactive FX modes, fade and ripple. I think ripple looks pretty cool, although it's going to be pretty distracting to use regularly because it's intense. If you want to set up your own lighting profile, you can jump into the custom mode and set different colors and effects for different zones, and you can even customize the palm rest by creating your own settings for each of the 16 individual LEDs. Almost every gaming keyboard has backlighting these days, but none of them take it to the level of the Vulcan II Max. As far as I'm concerned, this is the current RGB champion. I think it kind of goes without saying that a board in this class has other features as well, like full N-key rollover, 100% anti-ghosting, and onboard memories. You can save all your settings to some different profiles right on the board itself, and then pick it up and take it with you, and all that information is going to follow you. So the Vulcan II Max, it's the whole package when it comes to gaming keyboards. It's full layout, the switches are amazing, there's dedicated media controls, and the lighting's unique and insane. Now, if you want me to tell you it's cheap and affordable, you should turn the video off right now, because it's not. This is a full-featured premium gaming keyboard with a premium price tag to go along with it. But I think it stacks up well against other premium offerings in terms of what you get for the price. I'll tell you right now, the Vulcan II Max is my new main. It's gonna be on my desk, it has completely replaced my previous keyboard, and I'm absolutely loving it so far. And I highly recommend it to anybody that has the budget for a premium keyboard like this. If you wanna pick one of these up, check the description below. I'm gonna have some purchasing links for you and some more specs and details. Hit the thumbs up button and get subscribed, and we'll see you soon.